It's more than 500 years since King Richard III died in the infamous Battle of Bosworth Field. His body was buried in a church in Leicester, but over the centuries, the exact location of the church and his grave has become a mystery.
But now a group of archaeologists are about to start a dig in a council car park, which they hope will uncover Richard's final resting place. Quentin Rayner is with them now, and some people helping you too. Morning.
They certainly are, Louise. You could certainly say that Leicester is putting the king into parking, because these nights give you a clue as to why we're in this council car park, because it is thought that this car park under our feet is the final resting place of Richard III. Let's bring in Richard Buckley, lead archaeologist from the University of Leicester. Why do you think he's here, Richard?
Well, it's recorded that the Franciscan friars buried the remains of Richard III in their church after his body had been exhibited in another church in Leicester after Bosworth.
And that church, we think, is under here?
We believe it is, yes. We've looked at map evidence and everything suggests that this is the Greyfriars precinct.
Tell us about some of the other technology you're using. You've got this gizmo here. What's this?
Yeah, this is a ground probing radar equipment, so we're going to try and see through the tarmac to see if we can get any traces of walls and floors and things like that that help us to locate the church.
OK, well, I'll let you get on with it, Richard. Now, if any remains are found, the DNA will be analysed, and this is where Michael Ibsen from Canada comes in, because, Michael, you are, I understand, the 16th generation great-nephew of Richard III. That's a fantastic thing to be able to claim. What's it like to be genetically linked to Richard III?
I think startling is the word, really. Surprising as well.
What is your family's link to him? It's along the female line, isn't it?
Along the female line from Anne of York, who was the sister of Richard III.
Right. OK, so which member of your family's DNA will be analysed to test if any of the remains here actually are those of Richard III?
My mother.
Right. And your mother, she died recently, is that right?
She died about 4 years ago. But,
Right. And how hopeful are you that Richard III will be found here?
Well, I think it'd be tremendous, both historically and for the family, really, as well.
Yes, well, fingers crossed.
Yes,
thank you for talking to us. Well, let's also bring in Philippa Langley. She's a member of the Richard III Society. Why is he such an important historical figure, Richard III?
Well, he was our last warrior king, and when Richard died on the battle, the whole ethos of leading your troops from front died with him. It was the end of an era, and also his death brought in the Tudors and everything changed then.
Now, some will say, why is it necessary to find his remains? Leave him in peace.
It's hugely important, because I think we need to discover more about the real Richard III. There's an awful lot of myth about Richard, and this project is all about exploding that myth.
Now, we can hear the chimes from Leicester Cathedral, because that's relevant, isn't it? What's going to happen to his remains if you find him?
If we find him, he will be reinterred in Leicester Cathedral. The best practice is, when you're looking for human remains, is to bury them as close to where you found them. And as you can see,
yes,
we are in the shadow of Leicester Cathedral.
And there is already a memorial slab there, isn't there?
There's a gorgeous memorial slab to him, yes. Yeah, right. So it's perfect.
So all we need to do is find Richard III, don't we?
Yes.
Well, thank you all for joining us this morning. The Knights, oh yes. Yes, they're fighting again. That's excellent. Yes, they're just taking a breather there. The digging will formally start tomorrow, which is the 527th anniversary of the burial of Richard III in Leicester. And to think the mortal remains of an anointed King of England could be found here in a humble car park in Leicester.
He could be right beneath your feet. Thank you very much.
I think that's two of the archaeologists squabbling over who's going to get the first dig. Dressed up in the suits. 8:24 is the time now.